Hello viewers, and welcome to Comic Therapy. My name's Clayton, and on this Goofing Off segment, we're going to be talking about some issues I have. Comic book issues, that is. Now, if you're like me, then you enjoy comic books and the stories that come from them. Now, if you're really like me, then you also know that there are a lot, and I mean a lot, of comic books out there. Hundreds of thousands of heroes, villains, and cheesy dialogues that it just becomes too much to read. So that's why I'm going to tell you what to read, or at least inform you of some issues or comic book heroes that you may not otherwise know about. This episode, we're going to take a look at the hero Moon Knight in the Jeff Lemire All New, All Different series. First off, let me start by saying no, Moon Knight is not just Marvel's Batman in a white suit. Sure, the two heroes have some similarities, but when you look at the All New, All Different series, you'll see how much cooler Moon Knight really is. Moon Knight was first created in 1975 by Doug Moench and Don Perlin. His first appearance was in Werewolf by Night issue number 32 as a villain. He later showed up in several Hulk comics and eventually getting his own series in 1980. Over the years, we've seen Moon Knight written alongside the West Coast Avengers, the Defenders, and more recently, Spider-Man, Captain America, and Wolverine in a series by Brian Michael Bendis that was sadly cut short due to poor sales. Moon Knight is the hero persona of Mark Spector, the son of a rabbi. He grew up to be a boxer, later joining the US military, and finally becoming a mercenary. While on a job in Egypt, Mark and his team came across an old dig site with a statue of the Egyptian god Khonshu. A scuffle goes down and Mark attempts to fight a man named Bushman after Bushman killed someone to loot the Egyptian site. I say attempt because, well, Mark Spector loses. Badly. Like, really badly. Like, left in the desert alone to die. Badly. But don't worry, all heroes must fall to rise up stronger, just like we see in Batman. Okay, well never mind, forget I said that. Okay, back to the story. Mark is placed under the Khonshu statue, and in a near-death vision, Mark is visited by the god of the moon and given a second chance of life with one rule. Mark's body must be the avatar for the god, and so births the character of Moon Knight. Mark Spector returns, the hero rises, the villain falls, yada yada yada. Moon Knight, like most comic book characters, is not without what I like to call comic book cheese. That is, the cheesy stuff that kinda works in comic books, but makes you go, really? That's what they're going for? For Moon Knight, this includes his moon darts and crescent darts, a throwable weapon in the shape of a crescent moon. He also has his moon copter and angel wing. These are his moon-inspired vehicles, allowing him to travel the city. He's cool, I promise. Alright, enough of the cheese talk, let's talk about the all-new, all-different series. This Jeff Lemire series starts with Mark Spector having a vision of Khonshu when he wakes up in a mental hospital. Readers are brought into this what seems like the middle of a story, not knowing how Mark Spector got there, or if he's still Moon Knight. Confusion in readers grow as Mark runs into familiar characters from his past series, making you think something horrible may have happened that has put them all in this facility, but we're told that the Moon Knight persona is all just in Mark's head, and so are his friends that he confuses these characters for. Where this series really stands out from others is in the confusion. Mark is tasked with saving New York City from an unknown man named Seth, but to me, the main antagonist is Mark himself. Mark suffers from split personality disorder, and the reader is thrown between personalities from comic to comic, sometimes even page to page. We read about Stephen Grant, a big-time Hollywood producer, and Jake Lockley, a New York City cab driver. The reader is made to believe that Moon Knight and Khonshu are all just another personality in Mark's mind, until he finally is visited by Khonshu in another vision. In this vision, the god of the moon convinces Mark to not listen to these lies and dons his true self. Mark puts on a makeshift mask and finally sees the real New York. We're shown what appears to be New York in an ancient Egypt covered in sand and surrounding a giant pyramid. Mark is quickly pulled back from this world and back into reality. Everything's back to normal and we're back to being unsure what is real or if any of this is real. Mark's personalities jump to a noir style of New York and even the moon at one point, which is being overrun by werewolves. All of these locations and personalities are happening inside Mark's mind, and there's a different art style for each. This entire series has you constantly guessing, unsure if Mark Spector really is clinically insane, or if Khonshu is really talking to Mark and giving him the powers of Moon Knight. If you've ever watched Shutter Island, this series has a similar tone. Is our hero directing a movie about a weird character called Moon Knight? Or is he driving a taxi cab around New York, picking up famous Hollywood producers, taking him to a mental hospital to promote his movie about Moon Knight? Or is he on the moon, or in ancient Egypt, or is any of this even real? So, as you can tell, it gets pretty confusing, and that's what I love about it. This series is dark, thought-provoking, and beautiful all at once. I can't recommend it enough, and hopefully I didn't spoil it too much for you to still enjoy it. That's all I have for this episode, and thank you for joining my comic therapy. Before I go, I'd like to play a quick game I'm going to call Guess That Mask. Here's a close-up image of some comic book hero. If you know who it is, be sure to tweet me or leave a comment with your guess. If you have any comic book recommendations or characters you'd like to see me talk about, be sure to tweet me at ZTVGoofingOff using the hashtag ComicTherapy. Until then, I'm Clayton Schrock, and I'll see you next time on Comic Therapy.